Welcome to Echoes of the Mind. Once more, we're diving into the hidden struggles that shape us, the issues children face, often silently, that echo far into adulthood. Today, we'll bring those echoes into the light. This is the hidden psychology of growing up too fast. What if I told you that the child who gets praised for being so mature and so responsible is actually experiencing a form of psychological trauma? And what if that 7-year-old is still running your adult life? I'm about to share a story that might explain why you feel exhausted by other people's emotions, why compliments make you uncomfortable, and why rest feels like failure. If you've ever been called an old soul or felt like you raised yourself, this one's for you. Picture this. You're 7 years old. The kitchen smells like yesterday's coffee and unspoken worry. A glass tips, and in that split second, as milk spreads across the table like spilled moonlight, something inside you makes a decision that will shape the next 20 years of your life. Your parent sits across from you, but they're not really there, are they? Maybe it's depression wearing their face, maybe it's addiction speaking through their silence. And you, sweet, intuitive you become a detective of moods, a translator of sighs, an emotional EMT before you even know what emotions are. No one gives you a speech, but something ancient clicks into place. If I don't hold it together, no one will. You wipe the milk. You smile. You make a joke you learned from TV because laughter makes the air lighter. And just like that, a child becomes an emotional thermostat before they can even reach the sink. It becomes your superpower and your prison. You scan rooms before you speak. Is the face tight? Are the shoulders high? Is the house breathing or holding its breath? You learn the weather patterns of moods the way other kids learn constellations. This has a name: parentification. It sounds clinical, but what it really means is this. Your nervous system hires itself as the family's security guard. It learns that your needs are expensive and their needs are urgent. Picture your inner child as a tiny security guard, clipboard in hand, constantly checking everyone else's emotional temperature. Your body does math a child should never have to do. You choose belonging over authenticity because belonging is survival. On the outside, polite, capable, preternaturally good. Inside, a house where the lights are always on and no one sleeps. Fast forward to report card night. The grades are good, really good. But celebration is risky when this house is fragile. You tuck the paper under your pillow, waiting for a moment that feels safe enough. One hidden victory is nothing. 100 hidden victories becomes a blueprint. Your brain wires for hypervigilance. Scan, assess, withhold, perform. You become the quiet achiever, the therapist friend, the fixer. The world cheers your results. No one asks about your cost. At 13, you're invited to a sleepover. You pack, then unpack, then smile, and say you can't go. You're needed, though you never say that word. In the morning, you make breakfast for siblings who don't know they're eating your childhood. Now here's where it gets twisted, and this might explain your entire adult life. Stick with me, because this next part changes everything about how you see yourself in relationships. If this is hitting home, hit that like button. Not for me, but for every kid who grew up too fast. Fast forward 20 years. You're in an office that's calm, which makes your heart race. Calm never felt safe. A colleague compliments your work. You flinch. Praise is a spotlight, and spotlights make people see you. You prefer being seen for your usefulness, not your needs. You take on more projects. You answer emails at midnight, and you wear competence like armor and exhaustion like proof. When your body begs for rest, your mind translates it as laziness. Here's the cruelest irony. You become so good at taking care of everyone that you forget the one person your care was meant for. Love, your 7-year-old writes the rules. When someone is kind, you wait for the invoice. When someone is distant, you work harder. You become a giver who can't receive, a listener who can't be heard. You think you're too much and not enough at the same time. That paradox has a name: trauma of omission. It didn't happen because something terrible always happened. It happened because what you needed often didn't. The wound is quiet, but it speaks fluent adulthood. The breaking point is ordinary. A Sunday with no plans. The silence gets loud, your hands shake. Your nervous system doesn't trust peace. You book one therapy session, then another, not to fix. At first, just to witness. You say the sentences that stitch reality back together. It wasn't my job. I was a child. My needs are valid. You try small rebellions that feel huge. You bake a cake to celebrate a tiny win. You say, I need help without apologizing. You sleep and don't call it failure. This has a name too, self-reparenting. Learning to become the grown-up your younger self needed. Firm and kind, protective and soft. One afternoon, your little niece brings you a drawing. This is the moment where you used to nod without looking. You stop, you kneel, you look for a long time. That's how cycles break. Not with a speech, but with presence repeated enough times to become memory. The child who grew up too fast becomes the adult who slows down enough to listen. The echo changes. The house inside you starts to sleep with the lights off. If you grew up too fast, your maturity was never the problem. The problem was you didn't have a choice. Now you do. You never had the childhood you deserved, but you still have a future, and this time, you get to write it. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes we heal in community, and tell me in the comments, what's one way your inner child still shows up in your adult life?